Morning guys, so it's day 4 in our little spot on Dirk Hartog. So today we're going to chuck in our extra fuel into the car. There's a possibility it's going to rain overnight. That was the last forecast we saw a few days ago, it was showing that. This is a collapsible 20 litre water jerry can that we brought, which will be nice and handy. We got it from BCF. I think the brand is Wanderer. But yeah, that was super handy. Ange had that at her feet in the front seat. So I'm going to put this 20 litres into our main jerry can, which is almost empty. But so far we're doing really well for water. We've also got 2 litres of water in here. We've been drinking some soda waters, and we've got the 5 litre water can in the back seat. So we've got plenty of water, which is good. All right, so for Dirk, we bought an extra plastic 20 litre jerry can, and we've ratchet strapped that above the seats, and then we've got our other metal one in the center here. So we've got 40 litres here. That seems to be fine in that position, and then obviously we've got the other 20 litre where our fuel caddy storage is. So an extra 60 litres of petrol. The Jeep tank is 80 litres. We've never run it low to take that much. Fuel light's on now. We're at the top of the island. So we're going to chuck the 60 litres in here, and then we're going to go down towards the lodge, which is near the start, the beginning, the bottom of the island, and buy a bit more petrol from them there so we can make it all the way to Denham. So they're like $3, $3.30 a litre, really, really expensive. So hopefully we'll only need between 40 and 60 litres of petrol from them. And we'll see how we go with that. This morning I'm very keen to get in the water with those little sharks, so we go for a bit of a walk down the beach, get in the water and get up nice and close and personal with them. That was such a remarkable experience. We saw the little baby sharks yesterday from the air in the drone. Today we went back to see if they were there, so I went out for a swim with them, little snorkel, and they came right up to me. Oh, it was such a cool experience. Kind of spooky because you're surrounded by about 6 sharks, and it was hard to judge their size before they were quite close to you. Some of them would have been about my length, but most of them were just little baby ones. Oh man, it was so cool. Wicked.
So we just had lunch. That was the mackerel today, which tasted very good.
It's really good, yeah.
Big surprise. Behind us we are like some huge manta rays that we spotted on the way back from seeing the baby sharks. Chris tried to swim with them, couldn't find them there. They're actually very close to shore now.
On this outing, I directly go hunting for another bull-chin groper because it tasted so good before. Here I find one, hit it, and it immediately tries to dive underneath a little ledge, but I managed to give the gun a bit of a tug and pull it out just before it can get all tangled up.
Tried swimming with the manta rays today, but they didn't want a bar of it. So just went out later on this evening, got another bull-chin groper, which tasted phenomenal last time. Tusk fish, heaps of them out there, really good eating. So I'll chop it up and chuck it on the freezer.
Good morning. So today we packed up camp and we have left Turtle Bay where we were at for the last 4 nights. Now that was because the wind direction had completely shifted and was becoming more northerly, so it was kind of the worst place to be on the island. So we've headed back down the east coast and we have found our way to Louisa Bay just as a big rain cloud has come in. So we're kind of sheltering in the car. Doesn't look too great out there, but I'd say if it's sunny it'll be pristine and really beautiful, but we're a bit sheltered. So yeah, fingers crossed this rain cloud passes and we can get out for a snorkel.
So we did get hit by a bit of a rainstorm, unfortunately. Looks like it's passing. Hopefully it didn't churn the water up too much so Ange and I can go for a snorkel, because Ange tried to go in yesterday and got smashed up on the reef, whereas this is a nice sandy base, so it should be a much easier entry. And then we're going to have some parrotfish for lunch, and this is the only way we can defrost it, so just chucked it up on the engine. It's basically a block of ice right now, so hopefully that'll do the job. As you can see behind me, the weather is not clearing at all. But in the pamphlet we got for Dirk Hartog, it said this area is home to coral trout, which I've still never seen, and is apparently one of the best tasting fish. And apparently there is another type of cod out here called a potato cod, which is totally protected, and apparently that thing can grow to about 120 kilograms. So I would love to get a glimpse of one of them. So I'm just going to go out. Unfortunately, the water visibility was terrible, and I went out there for a spear, but there was just absolutely no point at all, so I came straight back in. So that sort of concluded my spearfishing on the island. All right, so now we are waiting for that barge to take us back off of Dirk Hartog Island.
Yeah, so this concludes our time on the island, 6 nights and 7 days. We didn't have the greatest weather on the last 2 days. We had a bit of wind, a bit of cloud and rain, so we didn't do too much. Chris didn't go spearfishing, not the visibility the greatest. And we checked out as well the East Coast on the way back, which unfortunately got damaged a few weeks ago by that big storm that impacted Western Australia. So it's not as pristine as it used to be.
So now we're going to head off of the island and we're going to drive to a little town called Denham, which we haven't seen yet. Then we're going to restock, refuel, and we're going to check out Francois Peron National Park, which is still in that Shark Bay region that we're in at the moment. Alright, so we're off the island now, and we've had a lot of messages from people asking about Dirk Hartog, whether we would recommend it and whether they should go onto the island as well.
So we thought we share the pros and cons with you. So starting with the cons, it's very expensive. So for 2 people in low season, it was roughly $550 for the barge. So as you saw, it was like a private barge, so it kind of makes sense. It is expensive, but we didn't expect that much from it.
And to reiterate, there's only 3 cars on the island per day on that barge, so it is very exclusive.
Yes. Weird things was you had to pay additional for the passenger. So I had to pay an extra $35 to be on the barge, which sounds a bit weird. It should be included in the price.
All right, now second con was the road quality. So first up, just driving from the Overlanders Roadhouse to Steep Point, that would be by far the worst road we've ever driven on. It was bone-jarringly bad. Now on the island itself, we were expecting a bit of a 4-wheel drive tour and a bit of a 4-wheel drive kind of experience. It really wasn't. It was a little bit better than the drive to get to the island, but the road quality was similar. It was all just massively corrugated sand roads and really slow going. So we were hitting like 10-15k an hour the whole way, and the island's somewhere between 70 and 80 kilometers long. And the final con is it would have been awesome with watercraft. So if we had a kayak or if we had a little tinny, I think by far that would be the best way to experience Dirk Hartog.
Pros to this amazing experience, starting with the private feeling that you get on the island. As Chris said, there's only 3 cars a day, so you barely see anyone on the island. We are lucky we went low season and we're at that private beach basically to ourselves the whole week. So it's that secluded feeling.
And secondly, the massive pro, especially for myself, was the spearfishing was mental and the marine life was the best I've ever seen. I've been snorkeling all over the world now, and just in the small place we were, which was mainly at the top of the island in the north, the marine life every single day out there was just mental. We could see gigantic squads of massive manta rays. We saw dolphins, swam with a bunch of baby sharks in like a shark nursery, and just the amount of fish life was wicked. There were heaps of like sea snakes the whole time, and then the fishing itself for the edible good table fish was really, really good, and there was so many. It was easy spearfishing, really.
Yes, so overall, yes, we would recommend Dirk Hartog. You should still experience it yourself. It's still like a bucket list destination.
Just make sure your vehicle is in good working order and good suspension, because really drop your tire pressures, go there for the amazing marine life and that secluded feeling. Alright, so now on to some of the stats. Now obviously every vehicle is different, and I especially tried to keep the revs down on the Jeep and conserve as much fuel as possible. So by the time we got from the Overlanders Roadhouse, which was our last petrol station, all the way to the very top of the island was our full tank of gas. That was 80 litres, and we also brought on board another 60 litres of unleaded as well, which we then topped up at the top of the island. We came down the island and then got 20 more litres at the lodge. It was $60 for one 20-litre jerry can, so you don't want to be filling up on the island for sure. And then that made us all the way to Denham, and we even still had some fuel to spare, so that worked really well.
In terms of water, we had like quite a lot of water with us. We carried almost 50 litres, only used
fresh water.
35 litres at the end. We save water by like washing dishes in like salt water, which we've done before. We didn't have really like a shower with our 12-volt showers, which is like going for swims, wipes and everything. So there are ways that you can go around without bringing like excessive amount of water.
One of the hardest things would be bringing enough food for the amount of time you're there. I anticipated on finding fish, which we did. Without that, we would have been eating gruel for 7 days. So just bear that in mind as well.
So just a few things to plan in advance, as it's obviously an island, there's nothing on the island. So yeah, just make sure to prepare everything and you'll be fine.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Our subscriber base is growing, which is so cool. So we really appreciate that support.
Yes, so stay tuned for the next episode. We've got so many epic adventures coming up.